let's talk about something most of us think is totally out of our hands, luck. But what if it's not? What if you could actually engineer it? What if you could build a system for getting lucky? I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? For pretty much all of history, we've treated luck like this mysterious force like lightning. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if luck is actually a skill you can practice and get better at? So first up, let's dive into the human playbook for this. We're talking about a framework for how we can intentionally create more of those happy accidents, more serendipity in our own lives. I just love this analogy from Sam Matla. Think about it, right? You're on a boat. You can't control exactly when a fish is going to bite. That part's random. But what you can control is the size of your net, where you choose to drop it, and how long you're willing to wait. You're increasing your potential to get lucky. And this whole idea, it actually has a name. It's your luck surface area. Think of it like your total exposure to opportunity. The goal isn't to chase down one specific lucky break. No, it's to make yourself a bigger target for all the good stuff that's already floating around out there. This quote from Jason Roberts just breaks it down perfectly. It comes down to two key ingredients: passion and communication. It's not enough to just do cool, interesting work. You have to make sure the world actually knows you're doing it. And they even boiled it down into this brilliantly simple formula. Luck equals doing times telling. Now, notice it's a multiplication, not an addition. That's super important. Because if either doing or telling is zero, well, your luck is zero. You could be the most brilliant person on earth, but if you do all your work in a locked basement and tell no one, your luck surface area is basically zero. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Here are 3 real concrete strategies. First, just start with volume. Create more stuff. The more you put out there, the more data you get back from the world about what's working, and the faster you improve. Second, you gotta work in public. Share what you're up to, what you're learning. That's the telling part, and it's how you build your network. And finally, aim for what they call 10x projects. These are the big ones, the ambitious projects like writing a book, that can just totally change your trajectory. So there you have it, a really clear, actionable playbook for increasing your own personal luck. It all comes down to doing interesting things and then telling people about them. It's a strategy for us to thrive in a world that we just can't predict. But that leads to a really fascinating question. We figured out a strategy for ourselves, but what about the things we build? As we create more and more advanced AI, how do we program them to be lucky, to make the right calls when they're faced with total uncertainty? So let's switch gears. We're going to go from personal development to computer science and take a look at the machine's strategy. How does an AI find its way in a world where it doesn't have all the answers? Historically, AI was built for really predictable places, like a chessboard. It assumed the world followed strict rules, and its only job was to find the one single best move. But the real world? It's not like that at all. It's messy. So new AI models have to be built on a completely different idea. That the world is uncertain, and the goal isn't to find one perfect answer, but to explore a whole range of good possibilities. Okay, the technology that makes this happen has a kind of a scary-sounding name, probabilistic reinforcement learning, or PRL. But the core idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of just giving the AI a single prediction, PRL teaches it to think in probabilities. It lets the AI say, okay, I'm about 80% sure this will work, but there's a 20% chance it could go badly. And that ability to model its own uncertainty, it's a total game changer for making safe, reliable decisions. And the results, well, they really speak for themselves. This data from a research paper is basically a report card for this new AI. And just look at the difference. The average return, its score, jumps from 67 all the way to 92. Its robustness, how well it handles unexpected stuff, goes from 65% to 91%. But the number that really matters, the one that blew me away, is that failure rate. Yeah, let's just laser focus on this one metric because it is such a big deal. The old school AI failed almost 20% of the time. The new probabilistic model, just 4%. That is a massive, massive leap in safety and reliability. Just by teaching the machine to understand what it doesn't know, we make it dramatically better at its job. Okay, so we've looked at 2 really different worlds, right? The human strategy for creating personal luck and the machine strategy for dealing with uncertainty. So now let's bring them together and see what they actually have in common. When you put these playbooks side by side, it's kind of wild. The parallels are striking. Our do and tell strategy, it looks a lot like an AI's need to both explore new options and exploit what it already knows works. We build networks to get information and find opportunities. The AI builds a model of its environment to do the same thing. We act with agency to shape our future. The AI is programmed to optimize for robustness, to make sure it doesn't fail. So what's the big takeaway here? What's the lesson we can pull from both humans and machines to start engineering our own luck? It really all comes down to this one powerful concept. It's called high agency. It's the core belief that the story other people tell you about what you can or cannot do is just that. It's a story. And you're the one holding the pen. You have control over the narrative of your own life. This quote from George Mack just captures it perfectly. It's an active mindset. It's about refusing to just accept the default path that's handed to you and instead actively working to shape reality yourself. This is the engine that powers the doing and the telling. So here's the bottom line. This is the big idea that ties it all together. Neither the luckiest people nor the smartest AIs are passive. They don't just sit back and hope good things happen. They actively engage with an uncertain world. They explore, they experiment, they broadcast, and by doing all that, they systematically increase the odds of a good outcome. Think about it. We design our most advanced machines to be agents of action, to go out there and make smart bets, even when they don't know everything. They don't wait around for permission. So the final question I'll leave you with is a simple one. Knowing all this, what's your next move?